Hi fitness friends, I'm Megan. Welcome to some Standing Pilates. We're going to start with our setup. We're peeling up the toes for a moment and then lowering the toes and peeling the heels up. We're starting to peel the toes and then we flatten the toes and we raise the heels. A little bit there, finding our balance. We'll do some standing hinges and circles through the joints. We'll work on our balance. We'll work on strengthening our core by pulling the lower abs in. And we'll do some classical Pilates exercises in this standing position. So we bring the knees and feet to a parallel position. We soften the knees a little bit. We don't want to stand with locked arms or legs. Lower abs, the transverse abdominals, are pulling gently in. We're also lifting our pelvic floor muscles lightly the whole time. We start to bend the knees and we're circling the shoulders forward, up, back and around. So for our joints, we're going to be thinking about hinges and circles. And then we're taking the shoulders back, up, forward and around. So we're creating little circles from the shoulders. There's 2 and 1. Then we take the shoulders forward, up, back and around. We pull in the lower abs. And we start from the tip of the head, working down to the toes. Starting with our hinges, we're nodding the chin down, and then we lift the chin. 1 more like that. Then we're hinging, right ear to right shoulder, and up, left over shoulder, and up. 1 more each side, like that, with our hinges. Then this becomes a small half circle. We're rotating to look over at the right shoulder. We nod the chin down, and then we do a half circle around the front with the chin. 1 to the left, we nod, we circle around. 1 more each way like that. To the right, we nod, half circle. To the left, we nod, half circle. Then we're facing the front. Shoulders are sliding up and sliding down. 3 more like that. And 1. Then we're hinging at the shoulders. We're marching along in our toy soldiers, bending the knees. 1 arm reaches all the way up. Other one reaches to the back. Hips, knees, toes. The face. We're all facing forward right now. We're not twisting anywhere just yet. We will be, but not just yet. Last 2. Last 1, and then we're rotating the hands pointing to the back, and then they point to the front as we do our giant circles, bending the knees that little bit deeper. 2 more like that. Knees and toes pointing forward as we go. And then the other way. Hips to the wall behind us as we circle. There's 2. And 1. Then we're heading on up, reaching for the sky. Fingertips find the shoulders, and the elbows are circling around, little tennis balls at each end. And the other way. And from here, we're thinking about our hips. So we're bending the knees slightly. The hips are hinging forward. We're squeezing the glutes, pressing the hip bones forward. And then we hinge to the back, pushing the hip bones. So we squeeze, we tuck, and we lengthen through the fronts of the hips. We have a little squeeze and push to the back. Knees are bending. We wouldn't want to do these with straight legs. That would hurt the lower back. So we're tucking and curling, and then we're pushing to the back. We can add the hands, pushing forward. Elbows pull back. And there's 4. Elbows are nice and tight into the rib cage. 3, 2, and 1. And here come our circles. We're up, holding the fingertips, knees are bending, and the hips, elbows, arms are circling. A little groovy warm up there. And the other way. And we've warmed up the joints, so we're heading on down to our side slides. Warming up the spine and the rib cage in every way that they go. Starting with our lateral reaches, down 1 leg and up. Knees soft, core gently pulling in as we go. Nice work. There's 2. And one. We soften the knees, we're reaching for the sky. The elbows come to the ribs, the hands come together, and we have our torsion. Small movements. The upper body goes to each corner. Getting warmed up for the rest of the day. Or relaxing and oiling our joints if we've been driving or sitting at a desk all day. Nice to do Pilates to warm up through the joints. Last one there, we're heading on out. Arms are out like the letter T, thumbs are up, we're breathing in, breathing out as we rotate to the corner for a little 3, 2, 1. Breathing in, breathing out for a 3, 2, 1. We keep the core pulled in. Knees and toes to the front. Last one like that, and it becomes the Pilates saw. We're breathing in, breathing out. Little pinky finger heads down to the side of the leg. Back pinky finger is pointing to the sky behind us. We breathe in as we stand up. We breathe out as we reach, and we saw. 2, 3. Depending on how our hips and hamstrings are feeling, we can start to saw a little bit further down the leg each time. Breathing in, breathing out as we saw. 2, 3. Maybe our fingertips are getting closer to the ankles, but they don't have to. We bend the knees if we need to. Saw, 2, 3. Last set. Breathing in, breathing out as we saw. 2, 3. Last one on the other side. We saw. 2, 3. Then we're heading on up, reaching for the sky. Elbows come in, little pinky fingers find each other, and we're opening and closing. Palms are up. We're strengthening and warming up the rotator cuffs in the shoulders. Last 2. And last one there. And then we're bending the knees, reaching for the sky, shoulders wiggle down, and we're creating a lovely circle with our arms. It's a frame for our face. If the arms are too high, that would be a little bit too much. We want the fingertips forward. We can see our hands. While we're here, we're creating a kickstand. We're bending the right knee, and we're taking the right toes and the knee behind us. Then we start to float the kickstand up and down. Could be a tiny lift or a bigger one. The next one, we're keeping the toes or the kickstand up. If we need to lower it, we do. We soften the standing leg and we float and lift that little bit more just for that moment of balance. And then we're lowering on down and in. Kickstand on the other side. We start with our frame, bending the other knee, we clasp the hands. We're balancing core in, and we start to float the toes up and down. If we notice the knee is coming forward, we keep it behind us, squeezing the back glute. Next one, we lift and hold for our balance, just holding there, maybe that tiny bit higher. And then we're heading on down and in. From here, we're bringing the knees and feet closer together, bending the knees deeply, core in, and we're circling the knees over the ankles. The feet will naturally move. Great for the feet. Hips will move as well. And we meet in the middle and we go the other way. And one. We meet in the middle, we tuck and roll on up. And now we're thinking about hinges. So we're pushing both hands forward. We're lifting up one foot, we're on the toes there. We're bringing the toes a little bit in front, and then we're lifting toes to the sky, fingertips to the sky, and then we're hinging at the wrists and the ankle as well. Toes down. We point up, we point down. 3 more like that, pulling in the core. And there's 2. Number 1, we hold. We could go higher and higher and higher if we like to. And then we're circling the ankle and the wrists. We're scooping inside the Nutella jar. We start to scoop the other way, pushing the Nutella away from us, inside the jar. There's 2 and 1. Extra moment of height before we head on down. From here, we're bending at the elbows, hips, and knees, coming down with our flat back. We tuck the chin in and we curl on up. Shoulders up, back, and around, and we're thinking about our hinges again. We're pressing the hands forward, lifting up one heel. We could be on the toes or a little higher. Maybe higher, and we bring the toes to the sky as well. And then we have our hinging. Fingers and toes down, and up, down, and up. So sideways, it looks like that. We're pointing and flexing through the toes, as we go. Great balancing work. Core in. Next one, we're keeping our position and we're starting to scoop inside the peanut butter jar. Scooping the foot around as well. And then we're pushing the peanut butter away. Ooh, if we wobble, that's great. Good for the nerves in the spine and the ankle. Good for the core. There's 2 and 1. Extra moment of lift and hold that little bit more. And then we're heading on down and down. Our flat back on the way down. Spinal extension, we push the hips to the wall behind us, rolling the shoulders away from the ears, and then spinal flexion. We tuck the chin in, we tuck and curl, opening the upper back to the sky. 3 more like that. We breathe in as we lengthen. We breathe out as we tuck and curl. Breathing in as we lengthen. Out on the tuck and curl. Last one, just that tiny bit deeper. Rib cage to the thighs, and then we tuck and curl on up. Shoulders are up, back, and around. We're reaching for the sky. We have our V for victory, and we're raising one heel. Hinging through the toes and the ankle, and then we lower down. Letting the toes really stretch. We decide if we're going to continue one at a time like this. We might continue one at a time if we have injuries to the knees, in particular, or the ankles, or we decide to go through the foot pedals a little faster. Excellent. There's 4, 3, 2, and 1. Then both feet are down, and we're lifting up the heels so the heels come together. The feet make a little letter V. We bend the knees, and then we squeeze the glutes. Now we're in Pilates stance, narrow. When we bend the knees, we also bring the elbows down. We squeeze the glutes, and we lengthen to the sky. So we have the letter V with the arms, and then the letter W with the elbows bending. We go for 4. We're keeping nice and tall the whole time. So sideways, we're still nice and tall, squeezing the glutes. Great. There's 2. Number 1, we meet and hold for a moment. From here, we're softening the knees. Fingertips come to the temples. When we bend the knees, we tilt one elbow over to the side, squeezing the glutes on the way up. We have our tilt and up. And there's 2, and 1, and then we're lifting up the fingertips and the heels. Knees and feet are parallel, and here we go with our Pilates squats. We're breathing in, breathing up to push the hips to the wall behind us as we reach forward, breathing in on the way up. So we're keeping that really long, strong spine, long arms as we go. We lengthen, and then we squeeze the glutes on the way up, pulling in the core. Really nice. There's 4, 3, 2, and 1. Then we're heading on up, and we're lifting up one elbow. We're watching the hand as it raises. We look at the elbow, the wrist, and then the hand. And then we're coming up and over into our full side body stretch. From here, we're bending the knees, pulling in the core, and the other hand floats up. They find each other. We bend the knees all the more. We pull in the core all the more as we bring the arms around in front of us. We release, and this time we're looking at the elbow, the wrist, and the hand. And then we look again, elbow, wrist, and hand on the way down. We come back to the front, we check posture, core. We go again on the other side. The elbow is floating up. Elbow, wrist, hand. We're heading up and over. Nice big side body stretch. We start to reach a little bit more, bending the knees. The hands find each other, they're reaching. Core in all the more as we circle around the front. And then we release up to the sky. Elbow, wrist, hand. We go again, right and left, a little faster. So we've got our elbow, wrist, hand, up and over. Hands find each other and we circle. Elbow, wrist, hand as we reach, and then we head on down. We go on the left, elbow, wrist, hand, up and over, knees bending, finding each other, circling. And an elbow, wrist, hand on the way up and on the way down. Elbow, wrist, hand. We meet at the front for a nice cradle stretch for the neck, reaching up, right ear to right shoulder just for that moment, bending the left elbow, wrapping the left arm around our lower back, creating lots of space between the ear and the shoulder. We soften the knees and we release. Other side. Left ear to left shoulder, we have our gentle cradle. We're floating the right arm, wrapping around the lower back. And there we are for that moment. And we release. Then we meet back in Pilates stance, squeezing the glutes. Lower abs are strong, pelvic floor muscles lifting, floating the heels up together. We bring the heels together. And we're here, V for victory, holding here for that moment. Strong and tall and ready for the rest of the day. Come on down, give yourself a nice shake and a clap. See you again soon. Thanks for joining me.